on, we have to start by talking about Chelsea. So you joined Chelsea at 31. That would never happen now, would it, with this Chelsea team?
Too old for that.
They're an exciting side. They are assembling, well, arguably one of the most exciting squads in European football, aren't they? Do you see them as a team that are making great progress?
I think I didn't expect, the improvement of the team at the beginning of the season, the first 6 months. I think they made some great achievement altogether. Maresca has to make some strong decision in terms of management as well. He has to decide who's going to play, in the Premier League as well, who's going to play in the European Cup, and I think he has to make hard decision with some players. So far, the first 5 months, I think I was very happy with the organization, with what he was doing with his players on the pitch, but as well in the dressing room. And I think it worked very, very well. So the last few weeks has been completely different for different reasons. But so far, I'm very happy with what Maresca has done. I remember what happened with Chelsea, a few years ago, especially the last 2 years after Abramovich sold the club. The transition was not that good, and a lot of players, were at the club and they were about to leave the club as well. So there was the environment was not good enough, to improve the team. They were changing so many managers as well. So from the start of the season, for what I've been watching, at Chelsea, I know they received a lot of criticism, actually, the last few weeks. But they have to be patient, the fans, because it's a young team with promising players, and they have a big step forwards all together. And they have made already such a great improvement altogether, and they have a huge gap in front of them. So I know that they've been frustrating the last few weeks, but they have to be patient because it's going to work.
Well, it has been a huge gap. I think everyone saw the start they'd made to this season and thought this gap really feels like it's closing now. And people were talking about Chelsea as genuine title challengers, particularly when they put that run together before Christmas, those 5 on the bounce, scoring goals in the process as well. And then these last 5 results, when they've picked up just those 3 draws, I suppose as well, Jamie, the disappointment is that they were games that you might have looked at on paper and thought, well, there's a chance to make it 10 on the bounce.
The problem was the expectation was raised. I don't think anyone felt Chelsea at the start of the season could win the title, and the manager kept repeating that when they were very close. I think after the Brentford game, I think they were 2 points behind Liverpool. But I would say, all in all, Chelsea are now where we all expected them to be at the start of the season. It's just that the way the results have come, and Manu's right, they had such a great start, it builds the hopes up. But if you actually go back to the pre-season, it was really poor, and you thought there might be problems at the start of the season. But if they'd have maybe had the season the other way around, started poorly and then been on a great run now, there'd be a much better feel-good factor. But we always felt they would have to fight for the top 4, and that's what they're going to have to do.
Let's see if we can throw some light on what has changed then for Chelsea in recent times. First 16 games, scoring goals for fun, 2.3 per game. And that is stark, isn't it? That drop-off in the last 5 games to 0.8, despite the fact they've actually had more shots. There's been a drop in expected goals. The shot conversion's fallen off a cliff from 14.5 to 4.5%. Nicholas Jackson hasn't scored in the last 5 games either. Defensively, it really hasn't changed too much. It feels like it's an issue at the top end of the pitch, Manu.
Yeah, both ends of the pitch, defensively as well, They have been showing, some weakness as well, some mistakes, collectively, but as well individually. So I think they should improve in front of the goal in a penalty box, and they have to be more clinical. But I'm still wondering why sometimes, and this is something I didn't see the first few months, with Enzo Maresca. I think in terms of management, I think he has been dealing very well the first few months, and the last few weeks has been completely different. He sticks with the same first 11 all the time. He makes a turnover game after game, but during the game, at the beginning of the season, he made some changes. When things didn't go well, on the pitch, he makes some strong decisions. The last few games, the last few weeks, I think it was completely different, and in fact, you see some players, on the first 11, the spine of the team, some players look so tired, That's why they start very well the game. The first 45 minutes, most of the time, is always very good, They're scoring goals, and they're the best team on the pitch. In the second half, they drop, they set back and they drop, and physically they're not there anymore. So something has to change.
I think it's fair to ask the question how much progress has been made. It was a big decision they made in the summer. Mauricio Pochettino leaving at the back end of the season, and Enzo Maresca hired after winning the championship with Leicester City. Let's look at these numbers then. The points per game has gone up. Goals is a slight drop off. But goals conceded is a big improvement under Maresca this season, down to 1.24 per game. And then the underlying numbers, Jamie, expected goals has actually increased game on game, and the XG against has dropped off. So they're creating better chances. They are conceding fewer chances on their own goal, which sees that growth in the expected goal difference. Does that tell us this is a team that's making progress?
Yes, it looks like it's improving, but I think Mauricio Pochettino would say, well, OK, I was there last season, we were going to build on that. This team, young team, had to go through what we went through at times. It was tough, then it improved towards the end of the season. And as I said, I think there's been a slight improvement. We can see that in the numbers, but I think Pochettino would say, well, I could have done that with those players coming in, the extra revenue that maybe you spent in the summer as well. So he would have felt that, OK, this team is getting better and taking a step forward. So it's taken a step forward, but I believe they could have taken that step forward with the previous manager.